Welcome, everyone. My name is Steve Dubin. I am your host for South Shore Senior News' podcast, My Generation. We try to bring together seniors and the sandwich generation to provide interesting, useful information. We look forward to your suggestions for future guests. Today, we have with us Maureen Gillis, who is the Director of Development for the Hull Lifesaving Museum, which is a wonderful place to visit, and we are trying to create some exposure for it so that seniors can and their friends can enjoy an unusual, unique place to go. Welcome, Maureen.
Hi, Steve. Thanks so much for having me today.
And let me ask you, so what brought you to the Hull Lifesaving Museum? Was it your famous backstroke?
I would like to think it was, but unfortunately it wasn't. I've been involved with the Hull Lifesaving Museum for almost 19 years. My daughter and I started with the rowing program when she was 10. What's really unique about the Hull Lifesaving Museum is that it's definitely community-based driven. And for me, I was a single parent at the time, and I went and asked about the program. And unfortunately, I was going through a rough time as far as finances go, but that didn't matter to them. They offer scholarships, and they said, why don't you try rowing, and why don't you have your daughter try rowing? So here we are 19 years later. I started volunteering with them early on when things changed. And then I was fortunate enough to be asked to be on the board. So I was on the board for 14 years, and I retired from Blue Cross, and they asked if I would be the Director of Development. So it came full circle for me.
Okay. And so tell us a little bit about the museum. What is the history of the museum itself?
So Hull Lifesaving Museum, we have two locations in Hull, one in Boston, but the two locations in Hull is the museum itself, but also the boathouse. And we're excited about the boathouse because we're doing a renovation. We're going to be renovating it to a 1960s design, and that's going to be ready in the future. We're just raising money for it now, but we currently run our open water rowing programs and our races. We have a head of the weir race and a snow row race that we run from the boathouse. The museum itself is pretty exciting. It's located off of right across from Stony Beach. Hence, the reason that the building is there is because at any given time, 150 schooners back in the late 1800s would go past us, and there would be shipwrecks. So it just made sense to build a Point Allerton station. So it started in 1889. It was led by Joshua James. He's our famous lightkeeper. He himself saved over 500 lives. He's known as a father of the Coast Guard. It started with the Massachusetts Humane Society, the U.S. Lifesaving Station, and the Revenue Cutter Service. So eventually all three of those groups got together and formed the Coast Guard. And the beliefs that they had back then about skills, courage, and caring are the same principles that we have today at the museum. Our mission is saving lives and changing lives now. And we do that through many of our programs.
Okay, great. And what kind of wonderful things would we see as we walked in the door, the kinds of interactive displays you might have?
Sure. So currently, last year, let me just step back for a minute. Last year, we had the honor of being awarded the Smithsonian traveling exhibit called Crossroads: Changes in Rural America. And we had to have some lectures around it. We focused our lectures on diversity, exclusion, and inclusiveness. And from there, we were able to get another grant for this year. And we heard loud and clear, people wanted to know what the history of women in the marine industry was like past, present, and future. So if you come through our doors today, the exhibit that you can tour, and you can do a self-guided tour, or you could do groups, or we have a docent, is Mary Evelyn Sparrow. And what's really unique about Mary Evelyn Sparrow, when she was born, Abraham Lincoln was president. When she passed away, JFK was president. So she lived a very full life. She was very instrumental in advocating for lifesavers, diversity. She would go to different women's sites that Richard gave to us, the originals. And we were able to take those slides, digitize them, so you can go over to an iPad and look at all the different slides. And we have her lecture series, and you can look through magnifying glasses on her writing and what was important to her. So there's lots to learn by coming to the museum.
Okay. And what about programming? What kind of things do you do there?
So the program that we have, we're just coming off of 2 summer programs these were for kids. And we have multi-generational, but just to talk about the programs a little bit, we had a summer explorer program for kids ages 5 to 11. And then in each week was a theme, and it had to do with STEM learning. So lifesavers, shipwrecks, tidal pools. We had Sally Snowman, who lived out on Boston Light. She came in for the Summer Explorer. It was a 7-week program, and we talked about environmental stewardship. We had beach cleanup, salinity testing, boat safety, how to drive a motorboat, and rowing. So that was exciting. But as far as adults go, we have a veterans program that meets once a month. We have 50, 60 veterans that come, and we bring in different lectures, speakers to talk about life skills. And then we have a veterans rowing. We have boat building and maintenance every week. We have art workshops with adults and kids, and we have a lecture series. So once a month we have a lecture series. So there's lots of things going on. The events that we have at the museum, we have a haunted museum and pumpkin trail coming up, but we also have our big open water rowing race across New England, and that is in Hingham. It goes from Hingham to Hull, and it's about 3.5 miles. And then in March we have a snow row. And with all of these events and programs, Steve, we're looking for volunteers. So as you can see, there's something for everybody. And if anybody would like to volunteer, we would love to have them. We would love to help.
Okay, great. And so tell our audience how the best way to find you and get involved.
The best way would be our website, which is, there's a lot of L's in it, Hull Lifesaving Museum.org. That's the best way, and you can see what's going on. You can sign up for our newsletters, our monthly newsletters. We have an email address, info@Hull Lifesaving Museum. And you can also stop by. You can call us on social media. Is another way to get a hold of us. You can send us a message through our Facebook page or our Instagram page, and we'll respond. So many ways to get in touch with us, and we'd love to hear from everybody.
All right. Maureen, it's been a pleasure having you. Thank you for giving us information about a place that is a must visit on the South Shore in Hull. And to our audience, if you have suggestions for guests, please let us know at South Shore Senior News. And I thank you for being with us. Thanks again, Maureen.
Thanks, Steve. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.